Good morning. I'm Mr. Muneer, Tabarak, teaching grade 12 bilingual. Welcome to Tabarak Private School educational platform. We have to thank our respected chairman, Mr. Yunus Al-Rahbi, for connecting the school with the students through this educational bridge.
Hello dear grade 12 students. Today we are going to study narrative writing. Narrative writing is story writing. So you have one section in grade 12 final exam. One narrative writing, a story writing for 200 words, which carries 20 marks. Here you get different types of questions, like write a story entitled The Dream. Means have to write a story with the title as The Dream, or write a story which begins with, then you get one sentence, means you have to start the story with that sentence, or write a story which includes these lines. So you need to write a story which include those lines, or write a story which end with these lines, or you need to write a story end with a given sentence. These are the different types of story writing you get. Now let's go through different techniques of narrative writing. First part of your writing is your structure. How you structure the narrative writing, that is the way your writing succeeds. First, you should have a plan for your story. First of all, the first part is called orientation, then the main body, then development of complication, climax or anticlimax, then the resolution. So a story should go this way, with a beginning, introduction, and a main body. Then there should be some problems, and the problems become bigger and bigger, and then it reaches the biggest problem or the highest point of tension, which is called the climax. Then a resolution, which means the end of the story, or all the problems are settled. Let's go and find the details of it. Orientation. It indicates time and setting and introduces the main characters. A gripping opening sentence is effective and essential. Here, the introduction of the story is given with some characters, place, time, weather, atmosphere, everything is given. So this is the first part of the story. Usually a happy beginning, a very good happy family enjoying their time, or like some other characters who are exposed at the beginning. So this is called the orientation stage of a story. Then the main body. This can be 2 or 3 paragraphs, a series of events which contains the development of complication of the plot. Here there will be some problems. These problems are called the rising action in the story. There should be some problems, and these problems mounts up one by one. These problems are called conflicts. So there are different types of conflicts that we will study later, the next part of this writing. Okay, so these conflicts play a very important part in story writing. Now, the development of complication. Complication means the problems enhance the driving conflict of a piece of narrative fiction by raising the stakes or making the resolution harder to achieve. So when the complication becomes more tensed, interesting, exciting, then the climax and the story becomes really exciting for the readers. Means your aims are achieved. If you succeed in creating a good complication in the story. Climax is the highest point of tension where the story reaches its maximum height. Here the readers should be tensed. What will happen next? That type of thoughts should be filled in the reader's mind. So the readers feel really tensed. Maybe the hero would be killed, or there'll be some other twist and turn in the story. All these things should come in climax. So before you start your story, you should plan for the climax. Then the resolution means where the plot is resolved, all the problems are solved. This is the conclusion. So it can be a happy ending or a sad ending or a disappointed one. Whatever, it is according to your plan. So you should plan for this one also before you start your story. There are different types of narratives like linear narratives. This one structure tell the story from beginning to end, moving through events in chronological order, or multi-narratives like tell the story through several points of view to give the reader a wide scope of opinions, or fragmented narratives like fragmented narratives tell only part of the story, leaving the reader to work out unspoken details. Then flashback. This structure is usually found within another structure to add depth and fuller understanding. Tense. We use past tense when you write a story. For example, at football training last night, he twisted his ankle and the trainer called for a doctor. So we need to use past tense to tell the story. Then setting. Setting is really a very important part of the story. Here we need to create a very suitable setting according to the story. A scary story needs a scary setting, like the place should be isolated. It can be dark, not enough light. Then the building should be scary. If it is a family story, the house should be bright. Weather should be warm and sunny. So according to the story, you need to create a suitable setting. It includes place like a geographical area like Muscat or even Nizwa or any other area that you need to choose according to your story. Then the time. It can be the time of the day. Then a year like 1991 or 2015. So year, month, season, weather, everything has to be chosen according to the need for the story. Then characters. Usually you take only few characters. If it is a first person narrative, then you are an important character, I. Then some other characters should be there. And these characters should also play an important role in the story. So these characters have to be exposed from the beginning of the story. And their character traits play an important role in the next part of the story. Dialogue. There should be some dialogues in the story so the story becomes lively and interesting. Using more direct speech is a very good technique to make your story interesting and lively. For example, she said, "Take your homework out, please." "I hate homework," came a muttering from the student. Instead of using the indirect speech, the teacher asked her students to get their homework out. One student mentioned he hated homework. This is really a boring part to use indirect speech. So try to use more direct speech and make your story interesting. style. The figurative language like simile, metaphor, hyperbole, personification, sensory imagery, vivid verbs, strong sentences, dialogue, all these things make a story interesting and beautiful. Every student has his own her style, so they can use these techniques to make the story more beautiful. Conflicts in the story make the story interesting and exciting for the readers. There are several types of conflict, like person versus self, where the character has to fight with himself because of some situations, or person with another character, a person with society, or the character has to struggle against machine or technology, or the character has to struggle against nature. These are the different types of conflicts that we usually find in stories. You can divide the paragraphs this way. Introduction or the orientation in the first paragraph, say who are the characters, setting, place, time, set the scene, who, what, where, when. Then the main body can be 2 to 4 paragraphs, which can be the complication, what is a problem, conflict, then develop the story, crisis, and climax, where it reaches the dramatic high point. Then the conclusion, it is the resolution of the story. Now, here is a homework for you. Write a story which includes these words. It was a terrifying experience. I was shaking all over. Write at least 200 words. So this is the homework. You can include this sentence anywhere in your story and write an interesting story using sensory images, simile, metaphor, like literary devices, and a beautiful setting. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you all.
Homeworks and other activities are downloaded on Moodle on Tabarak website. If you have any inquiry, email to Tabarak Private School.